Women in different fields from different parts of Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, the United States, and even beyond. All here in Ghana to celebrate the woman. It is the African Women in Leadership Conference, Ghana 2017. The theme, Unleashing the Power, Inspiring Greatness.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most distinguished First Lady of Ghana and Their Excellency, Mrs. Rebecca
Madam Chairperson, kindly permit me to stand on your existing protocol. I am delighted to be here with you today. When I accepted to be a keynote speaker at this African Women in Leadership Conference, I knew I would be addressing a distinguished audience of women leaders, and I feel truly honored by your invitation. Permit me to congratulate Arlo on 9 years of excellent service to mankind. I have had the privilege of going through the phases of womanhood, from being a little girl to an inquisitive teenager. My first role models were my own dear parents. Watching them serve the motherland was the first-hand glimpse of living for more than self. This is where I learned that as a leader, you find your own true calling by serving others. Many decades ago, right here in our nation, Ghana, Ya Asantewa, the Queen Mother of Ejisu, demonstrated leadership in the face of oppression. She showed that leaders must convince, influence, persuade, and much more importantly, act. Like Ya Asantewa, our history is richly pregnant with women who have contributed enormously to shaping the very core of who we are as a country. If we look closely in our society, we will find them, ordinary women, doing more than extraordinary things. Throughout Africa's history, we have had women who have demonstrated leadership in various spheres. We only need to reflect a little, and their stories of inspiration and courage readily spring to mind. We have had and continue to have incredible business leaders, entrepreneurs, professionals, politicians, change agents and negotiators within our continent. Nation builders who have gone far beyond the call of duty to give our dear continent just a tiny bit more spark of brightness with one action at a time. We benefit hugely from the legacy of these industrious women. Their journeys of success came at great personal sacrifice, especially in our society that believes a woman has to prove her worth over and over again. You will not find a harder working group of people than the women in Africa. Our hard work must pay. Speaking to the theme of this conference, Unleashing Power, Inspiring Greatness, I strongly believe that African women leaders need to understand and harness the full potential of the power they hold within. This power is immeasurable and can move mountains. It is heartwarming to know that more and more African women are now leaving strong footprints in the political sands. This is where policies are made and enforced. The same policies that chart the future of a better nation and continent for all beings, especially the children. But we need more women in politics. I know a lot of women are skeptical about joining the political force, but listen to this. If you don't lead, you will be led. And if you don't drive, you'll be driven. Do you want to know what the led and the driven have in common? They only can afford to complain when decisions do not go their way. Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of just complaining anymore. We must lead and drive policies and decisions that affect our lives, children, and our very society. So go in there and take a stand for what matters most to you and the people you care about.
This is your support system. Every one of you has a support system. And here is one of the ideas I'm going to give you right now. Number one is define your support system. Number one, define it. Who is it? It can be a spouse, it can be a father, it can be a mother, it can be a daughter. It can be all these, by the way. Most of us has multiple elements in the support system. So what is your support system? Number two, what are your expectations of that support system? And number three, please go ahead and communicate your expectations of each one in that support system. Because your success in life depends to a great extent on who you're interacting with, who you're relying on, who you're talking with, who you seek for inspiration, etc., etc. And some of us know that we have some people in our system that are bad for us. But somehow we don't fire those people. I don't know why. We just stay glued to them. And we know they are bad for us. But we'll continue knowing them. We'll continue talking with them. We'll continue interacting with them. Every research that has been done about leadership and success, they always come to the same conclusion. Successful people surround themselves with successful people. End of the story. It determined their direction. It determined their way of thinking. It determined their paradigm. It determined their perspectives. It determined direction. It determined everything. So you want to be successful? Surround yourself with successful people. End of the story. You want to be successful? Like Fatima said, have a support system. Know that support system. Know the expectations. Communicate those expectations. And the bridge on the top becomes really your way of getting from one point in life to another, as long as your support system is strong. Now, it is an engineering part. You don't have to know it, but mine as well, since we're talking about people and human beings. The toughest part of building a bridge and the longest time in building the bridge is the part you don't see, which hardly you see the tip of it here. This is the Miami River. And we basically had to surround each one of these areas, drain all the water all the way to the bottom of the river, and go down to build the foundation that this bridge is sitting on. You don't see that. But that's the most difficult, time and money consuming. That's exactly what we have in life. Building your foundation takes the longest and requires the most patience and requires your attention and focus. And when you have that, everything else will fall in place.
I have two boys, and it's one of the things I keep thinking about. You just said it, and I want to say two things quickly. One, women, just know this. What men say about women is not as important as what women say about women. It's, exactly. So that's why I personally am very suspicious of women who are happy to say things like this. Me, I don't like hanging out with women. I like boys, or I like men. Why? We usually ask, and they say, oh, women, they are too drama. They talk about, and then you go on and on and on and say all this. Personally, I'm very suspicious about women who say that, because if you can't enjoy the company of one another, I don't know why you want to enjoy my company, or you think I will enjoy your company. So I'm very suspicious of that. And I can say that for so many forward-thinking men. It's very important that you women begin to radiate light to other women. If there's any woman anywhere who is in any bondage, you are not free. If there's any woman, if there is, because the funny thing is, for men, it doesn't take Okay, so Elisha and I just met yesterday, very casually. And right now, we've gone past the friendship stage. Now we can call each other bro. That's in the word of men. It's that easy for us to become bro, right? It takes forever. It takes way too long for you guys to become sisters. Sisters? Yes, but it depends on which kind of women, which is true. So the ones who know how to, please, let's teach our women. Hello? Let's teach our women that the competition is not important, as you said. Let's begin to become a source of light to other women who are in darkness. And the very thought of you must liberate another woman. You must be so strong that the very thought of you will get a woman who is weak to get up and say, I can do this. So, if you can do that, you guys will not have men to think about how great that one is or how great, because honestly, we are intimidated. I feel very comfortable speaking in a room full of men, but you have no idea how I am very intimidated right now. And that should just tell you, you guys are very powerful, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. I'm so proud of you, by the way.
Okay, so what is it? Branding is the outward reflection of who you are within. Most of the times, I keep saying branding is like an onion. You have to pull layers and layers and layers until you get to the core of what it is you truly are. It's about asking yourself, where do I come from? Those beautiful kids were dancing here. I stood up and I had tears when the Kenyan girl came, even though she wasn't Kenyan, because it made me feel to my core of who I am. And that's why I call myself first an African before being called a Kenyan. Because if I know I do not do what is justice to this land, this same very land that is supposed to bury me will spit me out. So I have to brand myself in the right way, because that same soil is going to continue to be the soil that my daughter is going to work on. How do I see the world? What do I do that makes you most proud? What do I do that makes my daughter proud? What do I do that makes my mother proud? What do I want to achieve with my life? And a timeline to when you want to achieve what you want. Life. I know everybody talks about, you live only once. Please, it's a wake-up call. You live every day. You die only once. This is your brand purpose. Once you identify what you're here to do and why you're here to do it, you start your journey. This is what branding is not. It's not about describing yourself on a CV. It is not about praising yourself. I mean, I've seen some things, in brochures and stuff, and, we put down a lot of details. In all that, you miss out on who you truly are. You may be awesome, but if you don't present yourself well, you're just like anybody else.
So let me first start by saying that I am the Director General of the National Council for Arts and Culture, and this parastatal has been established for about 42 years now. And indeed, it's a parastatal that is dedicated to promoting the living arts, the creative industry, of which you are all a key part of. 40 years, that parastatal has been headed by a man, by men, sorry. And I remember just what he said when I was appointed, and they took a good look at me and said, she can do it, she can. But you know what that did for me? It has made me work twice and 10 times as hard. Because a failure on my part is shutting that door finally to women. But today, the narrative is different. I've been there 2 years, and the narration is, she's doing great, Some are saying, let's keep watching. So every time you think about me, think about yourself, remember, we must be committed to keeping the door open.
So I finished university, and then I was working in a bank, and I was sent to Nigeria for training. At the time that I went, they were selling shares at the bank. So on the second day, there was a group meeting, and I've never been to Nigeria before. I'm telling you, I collapsed. I'm not joking. So they had a group meeting, and they were asking, how many shares have you sold? How many shares have you sold? And then the manager pointed to me and said, you don't look familiar. It was a huge group. I think we were over 50. And he pointed to me and he said, I haven't seen you around here before. And I said, I'm from Ghana, I'm just here on training. So he said, how many shares have you sold? And I said, I've just come from Ghana, in front of everybody. He said, so what? Where are you staying? And I told him what hotel. Who is paying? Is it not the bank? And I said, yes. So what do? You go home and then you go and sleep. My friend, go home, change, go downstairs, go to the bars. The governments are there. The rich men are there. Walk around. Remove your jacket. I mean, he was saying all of this. And I opened my eyes like I'd never heard it before. Because what he was telling me was, use your body, use your pretty face, sell the shares. And I thought, that is not me. That is not who I am. That is not my moral. That is not how I was brought up. That is not the world banker I want to be. So I came back to Ghana Monday morning, went to the office, wrote my resignation letter, and I resigned. I didn't know what I was going to do. But I love accessories. Growing up in university, I would just make jewelry. Everything I'm wearing, I made myself. I'll just make jewelry and I'll sell. I'll just give out as gifts. So at the time when I was working at the bank, I used to make the jewelry and give them out as gifts. So when I left and I thought, what am I going to do? I thought, okay, let me just make a few things. People are always saying, I love it. Would you pay something for it? I'll mention a price, they'll buy it. Oh, really? Wow, so it can be a business. So I started from a basket. I had a little basket. And I'll make about a few, I'll take it to you, you like it, you tell Google tell Antinora tell Frida, just like that, word of mouth. And I'm telling you, my father stopped speaking to me for over 1 year because he said I had this great serum. He's taking me to the university, he's taking me to the UK, paid so much money for me to be a banker and everything, and I've come and I'm selling beads. I can say it proudly today, some of you know my dad, but I'm saying it because today he calls me and says, why don't you tell them they're ridiculous? Kwaku, I'm your father, tell them. I didn't know you know the ambassador, are you kidding me? You didn't tell them I'm your father, tell them. It's about personal branding as well. Let me know, I can talk a lot, so please, you have to be telling me when to stop. But what I'm saying is, it is not really just about a pretty face. A pretty face will fade. I'm a makeup artist. The cosmetic industry is doing fantastically well now. Every minute there's something for contour, for under eye, firming, anti-wrinkle, all of that. All of that will fade after a while. And then what is left? And let's also say, let me just clarify, that a pretty face, being pretty is different from beauty. So let's not mix that, because beauty can take you far. Beauty is confident. Thank you.
Because of what I do, I happen to work with a lot of women leaders, especially in South Africa, Ghana here. My company, we were the official consultant to the Ghana High Commission. So I had reason to work with many African women. I saw something that was so strong, the ability of our women. This is Elisha that believes in the ability of a woman. I'm so passionate about what God has given to women. And I've learned so much also from the women. I've learned a lot. I wish, my prayer is that God will open everybody's eyes to see what you can get from a woman. Giving her, if you can give her enabling environment, there's so much. I might be the founder of AWLC. God used me to start this great organization, but the people that are running this organization, they're all women. And they've done massively great